Mic check, mic check, mic check, 1, 2. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? It is Thursday, 12:30 in the afternoon in beautiful Sydney, Australia. Wherever you're tuning in from throughout the world, I say welcome and I say thank you for your support. We are only a few days away from a massive fight weekend. We got cards scattered across the globe, the US, UK, multiple cards in the US. If you didn't check my live stream out yesterday with Gary from 3D Boxing, go check that out now. That's on our podcast playlist section. If you're not following Gary at 3D Boxing, go do that now. Tomorrow I'll be live streaming with Tommy Ranone from Paulie Malignaggi and Tommy Ranone's Big Fight Breakdown show. Paulie was supposed to come on, but he's in the UK doing media obligations. He will be on soon, though. Just keep in mind. Tommy, former fighter, New Yorker. It's going to be fun to pick his brain and get his thoughts on the Barrios versus Garcia card. And then the following day, we're tapping into our UK network. I'm going to bring on Joe Stunner Boxing from the UK. We're going to talk about the UK card, Josh Warrington versus Lee Wood 2. Another intriguing fight on the co-main between Bilal Fawaz and Ishmael Davis. If you're not following Joe Stunner Boxing, go to his channel and give him a follow now. Say, hey, Johnny brought me here. So if you don't know Joe Stunner, he's good value. He's a bit of an OG in the game, and it's going to be fun. So all that aside, hey, I just also launched for the Patreon boys. I launched our Patreon nightly live stream. So if you're in the Patreon, I'm going to be doing, I have to box tonight at 5 o'clock. So I might do our live stream at 4 p.m. in a few hours. The Patreon live stream is a short version, and it's specifically for the VIP Patreon members because we have non-paid and we have paid. So just so you know, if you're ever seeing me on Patreon, that is for our JSB Insider VIP only live stream. And that live stream is for you guys to ask me questions about the tickets that I've posted. And in the Patreon, as we speak, I've given you 5 already. I got my eye on 2 more. So just pay attention. And in that live, you guys can ask me about the parlays. What does this mean? Because I know we're turning into, I'm a teacher and a coach, and what I'm learning here is through a lot new subscribers and members and insiders is that a lot of you guys have questions about the strategy betting side of things. So this is awesome because we're learning together. So that live stream is going to be I'm either going to do it 4 p.m. Sydney time before boxing or 6 p.m. Sydney time after boxing. So just stay tuned to that as well. I'm going to say my what's ups right now. We'll just get into this. I'll bring up the odds. We got Emma Banana. What's good? Everything's good, man. Hopefully you're well. LeBron James in the house. He's a Patreon VIP insider. What's up, LBJ? Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary. Fate Unknown says Andy Hiraoka got the visa ironed out. Correct. Yes. Hiraoka has landed in the U.S. in LAX en route to Vegas. Guys, I just uploaded on our fight prediction playlist my Stats Don't Lie video series, the edited 10 to 15 minute videos where you get my breakdown analysis and prediction. That's up right now. I gave you guys my prediction of Antoine Russell versus Hiraoka. So I dropped that maybe 2 hours ago. I'm about to hit big. Yes, you are, Luis Carlo Trigiano. Luis Carlo Trigiano. Gorlami. 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 Of course you're going to hit big. You always hit big, brother. Mike from Melbourne. Ozzy. Oi. Sup, Johnny? We doing MMA today. Makes my guess your 2 picks are Fluffy Hernandez and Melky. We'll get to MMA at the end of this stream. Have we spoken? I think, did I text you that or what? You do know I like Fluffy. And you must watch all these lives. I think I spoke about it. I'll pull it up right now since we're just filling in. We're, well, I guess 25 people are in here. But as we tap in, get all your questions, boxing or MMA related, and make sure you like the video. Just like, that's all I ask for you. Just like the video. Okay. I'm going to pull up, let's do the MMA together real quick because I promised you it and we haven't got to it. The week is kind of, you know why? Because for me, it feels like a short week because we had that card on Monday. So because that card on Monday, today feels like a Wednesday, but it's actually Thursday. Stop making excuses, Johnny. Stop making excuses. Okay, so I like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So a bet that I really like here on the money line is Angelo Kawani. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'm a sucker for strikers usually, but I'm actually my philosophy is going to go against my second pick. So I like Chitty here on the money line, 210. So if you take Chitty here on the money line against Carlos, Carlos recently had surgery too. Peep his Instagram. I think he recently had to have some sort of procedure. It didn't look too invasive, but whenever you cut the body open, it's never a good thing. I'm leaning on the old seasoned veteran striker in Enjo Kawani. Let's go. He either has like a $50,000 performance or he loses. Those are my kind of guys. So I'm gonna put Chitty on the money line there. And you're right. Oh shit, man. I think Spivak is live, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna take that though. Melky at 148. Those odds really aren't that great though. I do like Melky in this fight, but I don't like the odds at 148 for what we're doing here. And I don't like Fluffy at 133. I'm gonna take Uros Medic at 279. And that's gonna be my two-legger. I like the doctor, man. I like the run that Uros Medic has been on. I like how aggressive he is. Jeff Neal recently came out, and I'm a hands of steel guy. Jeff Neal has been on I think we've seen his better days. He recently came out, talked about his addiction issues, his substance abuse issues. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's sober. But Uros Medic, man, every time I bet against him, he seems to be continuously getting better. Brilliant striker, has power. I'm going to take Uros Medic at 2 plus 179 and Chitty Njokuani at 210. A little double leg action plus 485. A Hundy gives me 485 on the return. That's going to be my two leg. If I change anything, I'll post it in the Discord. I'll post it in the Patreon. Uros Medic, the doctor. What's up, Jay? Jay's an insider. Nunez will struggle against Navarrete. I think Navarrete is a problem. Emmanuel Navarrete. If you guys aren't keeping track, we've gone back to boxing now. Just so you know, I should hold like a red when we're doing UFC and MMA. I should hold like a red stick for boxing, blue stick for MMA to keep everybody up to date. But I know Sugar Nunez is the sexy pick here, and the sample size at the world level, there's a lot to dissect with Navarrete. And I have been torn going back and forth on who I like in this fight. I mean, there's pros and cons. Stylistically, every time you get a Navarrete matchup, let's look at the odds. His opponent's always it's a tricky matchup whenever you fight Navarrete. He's big, he's long, he's unorthodox, he punches at weird angles. He's literally everything you wouldn't in terms of taking a fighter and coaching them from the ground up. He does everything sort of unorthodox, and that's me being diplomatic rather than saying non-technical. He's just unorthodox. I think everyone struggles with Navarrete, though. So to say Nunez will struggle against Navarrete, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not saying Nunez is going to struggle the entire fight. You could pick up the thing about Navarrete is if you're still in there with him mid rounds, he is very predictable and he gets very sluggish and he gets very flat footed. And if Nunez plays his cards right, I think he weaponizes his cardio and he takes Navarrete in the deep waters. So as of now, I like Sugar on the money line, but let's look at the odds. You're like, how could somebody who's unorthodox become predictable? The predictability in what Navarrete wants to do is how sloppy his entrances are, how looping his hooks are, how flat his feet are. That's what I mean by predictable. He's gonna be the bigger dude. It's just that I like to. I don't like how undisciplined he is. It's hard being a coach, and you guys, and somebody who runs my own business. You hear me talk about discipline a lot. It's hard for me to ever pick the guy who lacks discipline, and it's no secret lifestyle issues outside of the ring, him blowing up all the time in between fight camps, substance. He's a cowboy. They call him Vaquero for a reason. He's a goddamn prize fighter. So I'm not judging him in these things, but when you look at Sugar Nunez, you're looking at a very disciplined world champion. And so for me personally, you guys know over time, you look at I tend to always kind of lean towards the disciplinarian rather than the larrikin. Very fun fight though. And look at Julius with all this action in the next 72 hours. My man's already looking ahead. I like it. Wow. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect Sugar to be the favorite here. That's freaking insane. Sugar's the favorite here. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Sugar on points might be the play for me. Sugar on play might be the play for me. So do you think we should bet heavier on Barrios, Garcia, or Warrington Wood? So for me, when I say full unit betting, I'm going full unit on my underdog money line bets. So full unit for me on Barrios to beat Garcia on the money line. I have Warrington on a UK dog parlay, full unit for me. When I go half unit, it's usually a domestic card, like we'll say the UK, the cards out in Canada. What are the Eye of the Tiger cards are half unit cards for me. The Zuffa cards are half unit cards for me. And then within the full unit play, I'll usually go half unit on props. So I have like a 3-leg. I gave you guys in the Patreon a 3-leg. There's 2 method of victories, and then there's like a will the fight go the distance sort of thing, half unit. A 15-leg money line long parlay, half unit. Just so you're understanding my strategies, and these are great questions to ask. Under 10.5 on Wood and Warrington. Look at Jay. Everybody, and this is the thing. I'm hearing a lot of the pundits. And I'm full transparency. Whenever I make my mind up, and I'm not doing a Stats Don't Lie video, and I've made my mind up on an underdog, I usually stop there in terms of thinking how the fight will go. Because I'm taking Josh as the dog, I have Warrington as my dog. I haven't thought about, or shall I say, I don't care about in my end, will the fight go the distance? I just want Josh to win on the money line because I'm getting plus money. Now, we've seen both guys stopped before. We saw, Warrington was winning until he wasn't against Wood in their first fight. We saw Bronco Lara stop both of these guys. They're 137, 135. So, yeah, I could see someone getting stopped. Hopefully, for me, it's Lee Wood who gets stopped because I got Warrington on the money line. Julius, I like and this is where my comment was coming because I know the boys in the Discord. I see a lot of the boys sharing tickets with Warrington and Wood going the distance. And then Julius, who's a JSB Sharp insider, he likes the fight to go under. And this is where, guys, strategy comes into play, understanding your own reads. We all, we might, let's say we agree 80% of the time as a team. If we agree 80% of the time, and it doesn't mean the 80% of the time we all have the same reads. We might come to a middle ground in agreement on an outcome, but have different reads or different perspectives on how we get there. So with that being said, when we're talking about us disagreeing on a read, and this is why what we do is this is why it's the best sport in the world. It's even on fights, like when you look in the odds, there's a few of these handful of fights. Like my boy Josh Edwards is fighting this weekend. He's one of my favorite American prospects. He's a heavyweight. He's like a 40-1 favorite. It's like, come on, dude. I can't even bet on Josh Edwards at 40-1. But there is a fight where It's a female fight. She's 14-1, but her to win by stoppage is $1.94. So I'm not jumping at that yet because I don't want to go against my own rules. I usually only bet Gabby by stoppage, but this is a young, high energy prospect who has a lot of marketing behind her, and she's been really active. And so when you put sort of these variables, when we're looking at any sort of outcome, a girl to win by stoppage. All right, what's her last name? Is her last name Vandora? No. Okay, you got to sell me on it then. All right, so young, hungry, green prospect, high output, marketable, being pushed by a major promotion. Those are sort of things. So I do have my eye on that, and it might surprise some people. What do you think of Frank Sanchez and Kiki? Kiki Torres is one of my favorite American heavyweights. I'm taking Kiki in that fight. I like the matchup though. Nobody wants to fight old Frank Sanchez, man. That big ass head. It's gonna be a good fight. We'll see. I have when I watch a guy from the amateurs and remember when I remember him getting stopped in devastating fashion, Kiki Torres in the amateurs. I don't why did it wasn't Akpadaliev, was it? Who was or was the Russian? It was a Russian guy. But and then you watch how Kiki handled Guido Veneta. Dude, Guido is a legit crafty ass heavyweight. And Kiki, didn't knock him out, but he handled him. It was a good problem to solve. And this is by far another match. I like how they're moving Torres, is my point. I'm all for it. This leveling up, leveling up. His handlers, top rank, they feel they have one with him. And the only way we're ever going to know, the only way he's ever going to know is if he keeps challenging himself. So, if anything, I love the matchup. I've got Delville finishing Levitt. That's MMA. Judice versus Edwards. Carl Juice and Edwards. Fluffy money line. Picking Corey over Guerrero. What's that paying, Mike? Matic just as likely to get finishing. It's Neil. Better to bet fight. Does it go? Yeah. Not for. I see what you're saying. I agree. It's just not my style. I'm going 2 dogs in the UFC. He's one of them. Udoch Medic fight isn't available on DraftKings Bet 365. Be patient. Be patient. It's only Thursday, and if you're in America watching this, it's only Wednesday. You got time. Yeah, money line is safer. Low key, ask away. We've been doing the Barrios card all week. So if you're new here, we say welcome. It's already Thursday. I do live streams every day, man. We've been talking about Barrios versus Ryan. Be specific and I'll answer it. Let's go. What's up, Jay? Warrington versus Wood 1 was at 126, now at 30. Wood has the advantage. I'm taking Wood. I don't think Wood has the advantage. We saw what happened to Wood when he went up just in his last fight from 26 to 30. Anthony Kakachi made him look small at 130. Yeah, so I totally disagree with that. Ayton. Yeah. Yeah. Was it Jollilov? Was that who stopped him? Lads. Let's go. Still good. Guys, like this video. It's really all I want. Just like it. Don't like me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I know that. But the video got value. If you could compartmentalize the video for me, we'll be in a good spot. I always tell my girlfriend that. I'm like, Chrissy, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Thank you for loving me. What's up? What's up, Blue Collar? Blue Collar has a good take. So Blue Collar and I don't see eye to eye on the Andy Hiraoka versus Gary Antoine Russell fight. And it's similar though. Like where our disagreements lies is actually aligned with the sentiment I have for Hiraoka. I feel that Hiraoka, I'll pull up the finishing sequence. We haven't seen him since 2024. When you're more inactive than a Gary Russell, whether it's Gary Russell Jr., Gary Antoine Russell, you're inactive. And we haven't seen Hiraoka since 2024. The last time we saw him was that finishing sequence against Ishmael Barossa. And what I see in all the tape of Hiraoka, and we've known about Hiraoka, he's the same guy who knocked out Jin Sasaki in 2021. We taped that because Sasaki rebuilt himself and put himself in a position to fight Brian Norman Jr., and we know how that fight ended for Sasaki. But with Hiraoka, he has a tendency to drop his hands. He's really long, 5'11" southpaw, 140 pounds. He could punch, and he's not as an aggressive. He's not your archetypal modern era Japanese guy. He's not just going to stand there and throw bombs in the pocket. He's more patient. He has more craft to him. He uses his length. He uses his straight tools. I like his lead hook. What I don't like about him, though, is how he drops his hands and he keeps his chin high when he enters. You would call it a tell. He has a tell. 100% he has a tell. And why I feel that's going to be detrimental to him is the fact that Gary could fight on the outside as well, but I think Gary does his best work inside, working the body. And there's going to be moments where they're going to have opportunities to catch each other, either exiting on the way in or on the way out. And when people ask me about Gary Antoine Russell, why do I rate him? I put Gary Antoine Russell in my top 15 pound for pound list. They're like, why do you do that? I'm like, I could talk about the genetic side, his size for the division, but for me, it's the hand speed. It's the hand speed and his timing. And I feel we are going to see levels. And I feel that Gary stops Hiraoka. And I think it's gonna start from the body punching. I think the body punching will be the key to getting Hiraoka out there. Now, everything I just said, keep in mind what I just said, excluding the body punching aspect and then the world-class hand speed aspect, Blue Collar debates me on that's exactly why he likes Hiraoka. And this is what we want with our community. We want an educated discourse. We don't want to agree on everything. And we want to do it research-based. And this is what we both do. So shout out to Blue Collar. I do want to mention, if you are an Andy Hiraoka fan, you should be aware that he was a late arrival. He got stuck at the airport in Japan. People were worried that he wasn't going to make the fight because he didn't have visa. He had visa issues. All of that is sorted, but he just lands in the U.S. today. In terms of acclimating to a new climate, flights, how long that flight is. When I lived in L.A., I visited Tokyo, Japan twice in the mid 2000s. So flying from L.A. to Tokyo, it's not as hard as flying from L.A. to Sydney. I do a 15-hour flight a couple times a year. So LAX to Sydney, straight shots, 15 hours. I do that a couple times a year, and I've been doing it for 15 years. But it's not easy. Japan to LA is not easy. He just landed. Then he has to either probably catch a pond jumper to Vegas or rent a car 5 hours. Maybe they do that. Who knows? But you're still going to be jet lagged. And we'll see. Even if he would have had 2 weeks in Vegas, I was still picking GAR. And this could just be a flaw on my end. Maybe I'm just rating Antoine Russell a little too high. For his tools, his skill set, his pedigree, his fight IQ, his strengths, I put him up there, man. I would put him in the ring with any champion at 40. I mean, we got Shakur at 40. We got Dalton Smith at 40. We got Hitchens, who's fighting this weekend against Duarte at 40. And we got Gary Antoine Russell. I think before it's all said and done, Antoine Russell could potentially be a 3-division world champion. He is 29 already. He's been at 40 forever. So it's like, does he try to stay there and unify, then go up to 47? Might be a little bit too small for 54. We'll see. 54 is filled with killers, but 47 is wide open. So you never know. It's going to be a fun fight. Andy Hiraoka is live. Don't get it twisted. He's not coming all this way to get what? He is live. He's 24-0, 19 knockouts, never lost. This dude's coming in to become a world champion. Great story. His father is from Africa, from Ghana. So he's half Ghanaian, and then Japanese. But he was born and raised in Kamagawa, Japan. But that's why his complexion's a little bit darker. His dad's from Ghana, mother's Japanese, born and raised in Japan. So fun fighter. And, I've been following him for years. 5'11". So how often do we get two guys 5'10" or above, southpaws at 140? Crazy. Fun fight. Flying into Vegas 3 days before a world title fight is crazy to me. Would definitely give GR edge. Yeah, and we covered that. And I was giving him the edge before this. I feel like that's just a little extra sprinkle. 64 Chris, what's up, buddy? Hitchens by decision. I do have Hitchens on the money line to beat Oscar Duarte. I've yet to pull the trigger on method of victory, but when I taped both guys, and we just saw Oscar versus Kenny Sims Jr., we just saw Hitchens versus George. Now, I think my instinct is telling me I think the matchup stylistically, what Oscar does well versus what Hitchens does well, to me looks like Nick Flaz versus Tiger Johnson. I've said it before on a live stream. I wouldn't be shocked if Hitchens stops him. One of the best jabs in the game. His feet are better. His fight IQ is better. He has more tools. Oscar's brave. Oscar tells everybody what he wants to do. He wants to rough you up on the inside, get on his front foot, come in, enter, volume, enter. When you go up against a guy who's a little bit longer than you with the speed advantage and a world-class jab, you're going to be walking on to shots. Sorry, Medich is UFC. I was underboxed. Hitchens by knockout is not times 6. I know. So it's a prop that I would look into if I were you guys. I have my eyes on Hitchens by stoppage. I have my eyes on it. I've been looking at it. I've been thinking my way through it. Duarte got stopped against Ryan. But I don't like using that. But that's a different Oscar Duarte. His body type was different. Coaching staff was different. He made entire lifestyle changes. He looks like a different athlete. His everything. It looks like he's, say what you will. I said it in the live stream on Gary's yesterday. To me, he looks like he's on something. I'm not. I've heard a couple guys online say that. I wouldn't be shocked. He fights differently too, though. He fights much more confidently. Totally different guy. Maybe he just grew into his man body. I don't ever want to sell a fighter short and spread false lies like he's on something. You know what I'm saying? But he does visually, optically look different. What he likes to do though is pressure you, put your back on the ropes. Sometimes I feel though, even in the Kenny Sims Jr. fight, when they were in the clinch and Sims Jr.'s back is against the ropes, it almost seemed like there were sort of some hesitations on what Oscar wanted to do, like having a plan B. I don't want to call him one-dimensional or basic. I really rate Richardson Hitchens. I do. I'd love to see him versus Gary Antoine Russell. I'd love to see. Hitchens is asking for the Devin Haney fight. I think that's a close fight. Richardson Hitchens versus Devin Haney is a very close fight at 147. So he has to get through this fight first. It's interesting. There's a lot to. We'll find out a lot, guys. I know just as much as you guys. But I do have my eyes on that Hitchens prop. Going with Barrios, Duarte, and Andy, upset special. What's that pay, low key? We're eye to eye on Barrios. We disagree on Duarte and Andy. But we don't have to agree, boys and girls, low key. King Ty, I know they got high odds, but let's talk about Edwards, Amari, Jones, Leo Tang. Yeah, so I mentioned a few of these already, King. I talked about Josh Edwards, one of my favorite prospects. I think he's the future of the American heavyweight landscape. I'd like to see him get stepped up a bit. Let's step up. 40-1 favorite again, man. Amari Jones, dog. Leo Atang, don't sleep. If you don't know these names, guys, put asterisks or just tune in this weekend. TMA is the one I was talking about. She has a prop so that is the Richardson Hitchens prop is the one I have my eyes on, and then Tia Ayton prop. There's a Tia Ayton prop I really like. I might as well just pull the Tia Ayton. Let's do both real quick, boys. Let's pull up the Richardson Hitchens prop. Plus 525 by knockout. These have kind of becoming a JSB special because we hit the Bruce Carrington prop at plus 600 3 fights ago on points when he won on points 3 fights ago. And then we hit with the Tiger Johnson plus 1,000 by stoppage against Nick Flaz a couple months ago. We hit on Hitchens at plus 600 to stop George, his last fight. I might play this. Dude, plus 525, little half unit sprinkle. Let's go. If I do make that active, what's Bud say? If I get active, I'll let you know. Let's check out TMA. A long, long time ago, I could still remember how that music used to make me smile. I knew if I had my chance, I could make those people dance. Maybe they'd be happy for a while. February made me shiver. See, 157 though. It really. I'll let you know. I think she should stop this girl. I think she's going to stop this girl, actually. I just want to give Catherine Ramos a little bit more respect before I take this bet. So that's where that's where my hesitation always lies. I want to make sure I do my due diligence on Catherine Ramos. I watched her tape. We all know the what I talked about earlier about TMA. I just want to watch a little bit more tape. If I jump on that 150, which the odds, I mean, it's terrible though. I usually don't like playing sub plus money props, you know? You're not even getting a plus money. But if we really think it's live, because I am playing a couple I'm playing Clarissa on points at horrible odds, and I parlayed that with the other girl fighter plus 42, the UK girl on points as well. So let me get back to you on this one, but you guys do your own work, look into it, watch Ramos's tape. I think TMA is going to do what we think she's going to do. That fight not happening now. Frank Martin may get bumped up to fight Gary. What am I missing here, dude? Are we getting breaking news? Some JSP Insider breaking news? Andy Hiraoka. No, it's happening. Yeah, mate. Scott Taylor, you got to stay up to date, baby. It's happening. We already covered that. He got his visa. You're pretty good on picking dogs. That's what we do, big homie. Those body shots and jab is dangerous when breaking down fighters. It's like I said, yes. Yeah. Yeah, the jab is the key to the front door. And this is why historically, if you guys are new to the game or you're getting into understanding styles and then even the style of a camp, you have a camp like Robert Garcia, RGBA, they're known for body punchers. So whenever you're like doing your film study and you're getting close to bet on a guy and you find out they're from Robert Garcia's RGBA Academy, the one thing you should know is that they're going to be a good body puncher. And as a smaller kid, when I was learning how to fight, learning how to box as a 7-year-old, body punching, I had to learn. I had to learn. It's not just being a good body puncher; being able to take body shots too is a whole skill, and then being able to counter off of it. So I think you're talking about GAR. Well, Gary's body work is really good. He's really high. If you guys have never seen Gary Antoine Russell fight before, you guys are in for a treat. He's a joy to watch. Rich points Gary, moneyline Frank moneyline Ryan Mario over, Chitty moneyline Cosmo. I like it. Get him, Gasville. They ain't ready for it. They ain't ready for it, Gasville. Yo, Johnny, could you break down why we don't see a replay of Hitchens versus Lemos? I think that Hitchens doesn't exist anymore, though. You know what I mean? I think that I don't know how old you guys are, and I'm by no means am I trying to be an ageist or sit on a throne and play like hierarchy of I've seen more fights than you. That's not what I'm doing here. But I feel that it's an important fact to keep in mind when we're watching fighters' careers evolve is that when we're talking about either, a prospect that we feel like a Caden Griffiths type. Okay, we'll use Caden Griffiths as a great example. He's one of my favorite American prospects. I think he's a 19-year-old welterweight, 147 pounds, fights out west. We just saw him featured. He's been featured on those sort of Hollywood fight night cards, that sort of thing. Watching Caden's entire, and I think he's 7-0 with maybe 5 knockouts. Where he is in his 8th fight, in his next fight, the version we'll see of him versus the version we'll see of him in his 15th fight. Based off of his potential, which a lot of people are loving his power, they're loving his durability, and they feel like with time he'll be able to work on his fight IQ, get more experience, and put it all together. As you're watching this fighter go from prospect to contender to potential world titleist, you're watching him change. It's like the skin of a snake being peeled off, or how a caterpillar goes through its transformation into a butterfly. I say all that to say this: that version who fought Lemos isn't, that guy doesn't exist anymore. Why? And this was, if you want, go watch my breakdown of Richardson Hitchens versus George Kambosos. I referenced this. I said that what will happen in the Hitchens versus George fight is he will put it all together. He will get a knockout victory. He will get a viral moment, and he will break through the zeitgeist of a guy that everybody in boxing circles knew that had a potential to be a world champion, in becoming a world champion, and break through to not just boxing fans, but culturally with a moment like that. And I feel he's a few more moments away from becoming a household name, but that is the potential of Richardson Hitchens. If he goes out there, which I think he's going to do, and level up even further from the George fight and be more confident in throwing these punches. Because a lot of times, guys, when you watch a guy who, has a lot of hype about him, and he's had fights, the Lemos fight in Richardson Hitchens instant, where people are like, well, he didn't really look that great, or this wasn't, I mean, he won the fight. But what is everybody talking about? You're only judging that because what his performance looked like. You're not in camp with him. You don't see the sparring. You're not aware of the potential until you see it. You could be a fan and believe in the potential. That's where fans come from. Fans will believe the camp. Fans will believe in their handlers on how they're talking about said fighter, and they believe in that potential, and that's how fans become fans, right? With what we do, though, and with what I do in analyzing guys' trajectories, I do have to take in consideration the potential, but I also have to be sure that I'm not a fan, and play this sort of fine line, right? And it worked out for me in the George outcome, and making money telling you guys who to take. And I think that's why, to come full circle, that guy against Lemos doesn't exist anymore. He's a different breed. He's a different guy. He's going to be a more confident puncher. He's going to believe in his. Bruce Carrington versus Carlos Castro. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. Bruce Carrington needed that moment. We hit that huge prop. He chose to punch with a puncher. It takes confidence to do that. You really have to believe in your skills, because you're putting your whole career at risk. You're putting your health at risk. But if you do take that risk and it pays off in your favor, boom, you break through. This is how heroes are born. Bruce Carrington now is a world champion with a viral knockout. Also, more importantly, he goes into his next fight knowing that he's capable of that. Richardson Hitchens knows that he's capable of that. This is what I'm talking about. I could see him stopping Duarte, dude. I fucking love this shit. Sorry. Fucking hell. My bad. It's possible upsets most. Pretty boy Woo can show up. This is a good chat to have, man. This is he's Gasville is talking about Frank Martin versus Woo, but what people need to be talking about is Buddy McGirt. People need to be talking about old Dirt McGirt. That was old dirty bastard, but Buddy McGirt, legendary coach and trainer. Buddy, if you watch Frank Martin's last fight against Rancis Bartholomew, people could throw it away and they could say, oh, Rancis was 137 years old. I'm going to tell you this right now. Frank Martin would have looked exactly the same way against whoever they put in front of him. Why? Because Frank was a different fighter. That version of Frank had leveled up. He is on the ascension. Why? Changed camps. He's with Buddy McGirt now. You realize how exciting it is for me, being a nerd of the game, to see what a second camp looks like under Buddy, with a guy who's as physically gifted as Frank Martin, when you could take all of the tactics and execution and IQ and experience of a Buddy McGirt and give it to an athletically savant, gifted Frank Martin. I think he's going to go out there and continue this ascension. I think he's going to show out. And no shade on Albright, but I'm excited about that fight as well. Yeah, it is. It is. And also, how he chooses where. My coach used to say, what real estate, where do you choose to fight? What real estate of the ring? Russell's ability to sort of dictate that and depict where the fight takes place, all of that comes from his speed and his physicality. He's a physical guy in there too. We're gonna see if Hiraoka really likes to fight on the inside. A lot of guys say they like to fight on the inside. Well, they're gonna learn today. Gonna learn today. My pops is in my spelling bee. No draws on. Yo, Kevin! Gonna learn about some dick today, boy. Russell lost to Puello, couldn't even make an adjustment. Okay, so I had going into that fight. So for you to just throw away Puello like that, Alberto Puello is a top 10 140 pounder in the entire world. Nobody handles Alberto Puello. Gary Antoine Russell was up 4-1 going into the sixth. What Russell failed to do was handle his gas tank. I felt like it was a tactical issue. He started fading. Puello, the 5'9" long southpaw, could fight you at range, could fight you on the inside. Really tricky operator, has more power than people think. He could fight long, he could fight close. Started seeing that, cut the ring in half, and chose to fight Gary on the inside more and more. And when he wasn't comfortable, he had Gary chase, and then he would counter him, and then he started winning rounds, and then he started getting more active, and then his output was higher, and he won a close split decision. That is no shade. If anything, I feel that loss has elevated Gary, because then we saw in the bounce back what he looked like against Ryo. So this no shade. It's like losing to Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin is a motherfucker for anybody. He might not be a household name, but he is a tricky customer to deal with. Guys like Sandor Martin and Puello, they lose a lot of close rounds. You know what I'm saying? I had Puello beating Subro Matias in that fight. And so I had Sandor Martin also beating Teofimo Lopez in that fight. And both guys are tricky operators. They don't do one thing extremely well, but they're high fight IQ guys, and they have a lot of problems that guys have to deal with. And you should also mention Gary Antoine Russell was coming off a long run of inactivity. What a fight to walk into a tricky world-class operator like Alberto Puello for your first fight in a while. Since then, he got the Ryo fight, and he's fighting third time, I think, in the calendar year versus Hiraoka, who hasn't fought since 2024. So it's hardly shade losing a close split to a guy like Puello. Puello's a goddamn dog. Hiraoka's coming off a 12-hour flight 3 days before the fight. His first time fighting out Japan, 17 hours time difference. I agree. And hasn't fought since 2024. George Kambosos was smallest 140 faces before he, true story. Yeah, George was cut his teeth at 30. This is facts. But once again, it's you still have to. George is still, he still landed the shot against Teo, and this is pre-Shakur Teo, and so you still, as the fighter, have to be offensively minded. Was my point with the whole thing. You still have to, no matter who you're fighting, you still have to be offensively minded, and you still have to trust your tools and be confident enough to use them. He's confident enough to use them now, and only time will tell if it continues to pay off. I think it will. I think that front forward style that Duarte gives every opponent, it's no secret what he wants to do. Be tougher, but Richardson's big. It's good. I can't wait to watch the fight within the fight. I can't wait to see how they, when they clinch up, to see who gets the better of those exchanges, because I think Hitchens is going to be stronger than people think as well. I agree with you. I can see it just going to stop. A prop might be in order. I'll let you know if I pull the trigger, PJ. I still go Duarte. Good, man. Look, dude, the last thing, bro, boys, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of their stuff. If I was, I would tell you. If I was, I would market myself. I will talk you out of your, but no. We're vibing. I always talk about one of my good friends is a famous comic, and when he's touring in Australia, I go, front row to see him, and then I'll be in the green room with all the other comics, and they're all just kind of smoking cigarettes and they're riffing. They're kind of like, working out bits on each other sort of thing. And that's what we're working out our strategies. But if you go one way, I go the other, that's fine. That's what makes what we do great. Nobody's offended. I think the weigh-ins, I'm going to stream it in the chat. I'm going to stream it because we always stream the fights in our Discord. I'm going to stream the weigh-ins because I think it's important. We're floating between 60 and 80 people on this live stream. There's at least 60 to 80 of you guys who are interested. Being a coach, if you're unaware, body language matters, nonverbal communication matters, how a fighter's weight cut was matters. And we'll get to see those first two things, body language, nonverbal communication, at the weigh-ins. So if you are torn on any fight, or if you're 50-50 on an outcome, just wait until the weigh-ins. Wait until you see whatever fighter you're kind of torn on and see how they're carrying themselves. Watch their eyes. Watch their, the composition. Do they look gaunt and drawn out? Those are things to look out for because those are sort of telltale signs of a bad weight cut, lack of preparation, sort of thing. Bektamir Melikuziev is fighting. We can pull up. He's a big favorite. Beck the Bully won me a lot of money when he beat with that knockdown against Darius Fulgham, in which he was an underdog. I think that might have been me and Gary's first debate. That would have been like last April or May. He's a Texas guy. He took DFG. I took Beck, and it was a very close fight up until Beck got that late knockdown. Seno Becco. Becco's been in there with some real guys. Big favorite, or big dog here. I'm a fan of Melikuziev, though. Do I think Frank stops Albright? See, this is the thing. I don't want to, it's the way I like to do my thing is if I pick against a guy, I still feel I could compliment the guy in my approach. Nahir, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know yet. Hiraoka sets up his power shots very easy. He's good. He is good. He has the uppercut in both hands, moving in and out. Bro, this guy's just different. He knocked out Ishmael Barroso. Trust, don't bet Russell. Just don't. No, Hiroka's fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know if Wu gets knocked out. Wu has some class in him. He's a good boxer. I don't think Wu is going to punch. I don't think Wu's style isn't like Rancis' style. He's not going to stand in the middle of the goddamn ring with Frank. He's not. I think he's going to be on his back foot a lot. I highly disagree. I mean, in terms of hand speed, versatility, fighting at range, fighting inside, body punching, overrated. If anything, I would say GAR is underrated. For GAR not to be a household name, that's insane. So I disagree with you. Bro, losing close rounds means you're not that good and you can lose against a hot puncher. This guy who is now 30. Well, GAR's 29. And what is age? What's age have to do? Have to do with it? Oh. Andy Hiraoka has more questions to answer. Agree. People think Duarte can only win by knockout, but he can win similar to Kenny. No, he beat Kenny on points. Close decision. I gave it to him. I gave him 2+ rounds. In Kenny's backyard. He impressed me. Duarte impressed me. He weaponizes his cardio. He weaponizes his pace. But the thing about it is, guys, you have to realize Kenny didn't have anything coming back. Duarte didn't have any fear of that power. I feel once Oscar feels a couple of those shotgun jabs from Hitchens, we're gonna have to see a plan B. Do you have a plan B? Well, we're gonna find out. Do I think Davis Fawaz is a close fight? This is one I'm torn on. You guys tune into my live stream with Joe Stunner Boxing Saturday morning. He's my UK sort of expert that I tap into. Go follow his channel. He does great work. He's an OG of the game, old timer. He could talk to you about fights from the golden era, all the way from like the sugar, like the 50s, and then he knows all about what's going on in the modern era. So I brought him. I'm bringing him on to get his word. I know. He just posted his prediction. He's taken Ishmael Davis in a close nip and tuck 12-rounder. This is Bilal Fawaz's first 12-rounder. Ishmael Davis has been in there with a world-class competition. We know Josh is a world champion now. He lost a close decision to Josh. He beat Troy Williamson. Even though Troy was a bit deflated, he came down 2 weight classes to fight Ishmael Davis. And Troy's coming off a career resurging victory over Callum Simpson. So the thing with Bilal, and Bilal might be the youngest 37-year-old in boxing history, by the way. So he's 37, but he has a lot of energy about him. He's being promoted now. He got signed with Matchroom. Great story. You guys hear me talk about that ad nauseum. I think it's going to come down to Bilal's gas tank. I like Bilal Fawaz's output and gas tank. We'll see how it handles. I mean, we got him at plus money. I'm dog hunting. I got Bilal as a dog in that fight. Johnny, I'm checking in. I may take King Osterine. Yeah, I wouldn't hate on it either. A lot of boys are taking Ryan. Just had to get that fade up. Just got that. What you know about that lineup? Frank Martin over 6.5. Yes. Yes. I love that bet. I could see that going to the distance. I could see that going distance. I could see Frank Martin win a decision against Albright. I just don't see. Nair has a high fight IQ, and he's not a big puncher. He has a long jab. Frank's going to use his athleticism and his speed to get past the jab. He's going to put him. He's going to put Nair on his back foot, and he's going to win a lot of rounds based on optics and output. And unless Nair all of a sudden feels that he's going to stand there and punch with him, he has decent power, but he doesn't have legit power to deter Frank Martin. And it's stop. He's not going to stand in the middle of the ring like Rancis did. That's my prop. My prop of the week. Gary Antoine Russell. I think my mom brainwashed me when I was a kid, guys. On some real levels, boys, between me and you, don't tell anyone. My punishment as a kid when I'm talking like 6 years old, 7 years old, my mom would make me and force me to watch musicals, show tunes with her. And I would just cry, no, Dad. And she'd be like, your father's not going to do nothing for you. And I think because of that, the worst movie ever made, in my opinion, is literally every girl that I would meet growing up, their favorite movie. And it was because my mom would force me to watch it. But I think that's why I sing now. I do. I mean, I think that's what started singing. The Sound of Music, the worst film ever made. But it's like the show tune thing. Oh God. It seemed like that film was like 10 hours. I fucking hated that film. And my dad would make me watch Bonanza. So their way of punishing me was making me watch TV shows that I hated. Shout out to mom and dad. Rest in peace, pops. It could have been a lot worse. I could have been getting that ass beat. I think the biggest difference, I did get my ass beat though. I think the biggest difference between Kenny and Itch is that Kenny is more comfortable sitting and countering the pocket with you. He utilizes his distance, but not. I think there's a power difference too, though, and a size difference. Sims is fighting. They just did a really good fight. One of you boys, who did Kenny Sims just announce he's fighting? In a really tough bounce back fight. This shows you how Kenny Sims Jr. is a dog, dude. I picked him to beat Duarte, so I was salty when he lost. I think this is going to be a dog fight. Only benefit me too. Me too. Me too. 5'11", dude. Bilal size, output, always in shape. His confidence. That dude might be the most confident guy you'll ever meet, and that's a good thing when we're talking about boxing. Sentinel's in the house. Johnny, I got 3.5 cash to bet. If I win from one of your picks, I'll return a percentage. Man, y'all always say that. Nobody ever tips me. Like I'm about to do a pity party. No one ever gives me no tips. Well, you ain't giving me nothing. Shut your ass up. I gave you guys massive dogs. I gave you guys dogs consecutive weeks that nobody was giving. I get no love. I'm partially playing, but keep your money, baby. I'll return. You ain't returning nothing. Let's just keep it 100. Jokes. I'm clowning. Sentinel. Good work on your wins. Who are you taking? You're gonna take my picks. Oh, that's a lot of pressure, brother. It's a lot of pressure. GAR champion, stop at that. GAR champion, stop at that one of Johnny Twitter. Johnny's babies. I think we're starting to. Yeah, the Twitter Johnny's babies. High interest is my guy, man. Be looking out. What do people see in Fawaz? He looks like he's really green. I know. It's he's really green. His resume's shit. He hasn't fought anybody. He beat Junaid Boston. He beat a prospect. When he was a big underdog. That's the ticket gate fight, by the way. That's the Ticket Gate fight when Ticket Gate came to be. When Bilal Fawaz beat Junaid Boston. Very good athlete, very good engine. He's long. He does a lot of things well. And he's kind of one of these guys that have just been waiting on the sidelines for his opportunity. So he's going to be very determined and very confident. I feel even though Ishmael Davis is younger, he has a lot of tread on those tires, man. And how he loses, how he fights is kind of like he gets hit a lot. I love the Bilal Fawaz at plus money bet. Actually, the more you talk me into it, you try talking me out of it, but the more you talk me out of it, you talk me into it. So thank you for that's. This is why we need discourse. This is why we can never have an echo chamber, boys. We could if ever there's a fight and we're all agreeing, somebody better call us out. Somebody better call us out because through discourse, through second guessing, you start having a deeper conversation. And then A, you'll either come back to your center point with your initial sort of pick, or B, you'll flip flop. That's a great question, Kingdom. And you know what? Up until that question, I didn't really answer those questions for myself. It was more of a value play. So I appreciate you. I'm touching over rounds for my parlay. I love the over in Duarte and Hitch at 7.5. I'll touch distance. Yeah. Watch the weigh-ins are very important, boys. I can't dude, guys, moving forward, boys, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in your life, and you're about to risk your hard-earned cash, even $1 on a fight, remember to yourself, let me see what these weigh-ins look like. Now, there's certain fights where you don't have to wait and you're not going to wait, but if it's a 50-50 style fight, be like, let me just be patient. Let me look at these weigh-ins. I'm goated. They better not call a draw on any of the fights. Fuck up everyone's parlay. Well, if you're in Australia and you're worried about the draw, do not use sports bet. Don't use my book. Use Bet365 because in Australia, if you use Bet365 and there's a draw, your parlay is still active. But if you use sports bet and there's a draw, you lose. Remember that. Bro, this is I know you guys I guess we just all have different tastes in fighters. I'm a fan of Arnold Barboza Jr. I like watching him fight. I like watching his tape. I thought it was people act like the Teofimo Lopez looked shinier. He had a lot of shiny moments, but there were a lot of moments where Arnold Barboza Jr. had as well in that fight. We hit him at plus 400 over in the UK when he beat Jack. Barboza versus Kenny Sims. That is like a technician's, like a coach's, a true blue fan friendly fight. I can't wait for that fight. That's a tough fight for both guys who need a win. Shout out to both guys. Barbosa is one of these guys who fights like he's a knockout artist. He just doesn't have the power. Yeah, I love that fight. You guys are gonna be like, what are you talking about? Those two guys are boring. I'm a boring guy. I'm a simple dude. You guys know that. I love that fight. I like the chess. I like the problem solving when you have two high level operators and neither one is relying on explosivity or God given athleticism or some massive genetic sort of component where both are chess players and you have to figure this thing out. How is this going to play? That is Barbosa versus Kenny. I can't wait for that fight. Is that a main event? Me and Sal both had dreams that hit. Sal, you guys are having dreams together, boy. What do you mean? What? You guys are sharing dreams? I ain't had no dream. I ain't never have no dreams. Sal and me having dreams that Hitchens got knocked out. What you trying to do? What are you talking about? You have a dream. You literally. There is no way in life you had a dream, and in your dream, Oscar Duarte appears there, and he just happens to be fighting Richardson Hitchens, and you saw him not. There's no way. They love Eddie. Do you have a method of victory for Beck? I'm not getting options yet, but I have my eye on the fight. Alan Mota, super. Look, Alan, I did not mean to guilt anybody into tipping me. I was just saying because throughout live streams, when I do them every day, I hear a lot over the last 6 weeks. If this hits, Or if this hits, I'm like, they all hit. How come no one ever came back with it? But thank you for that. Really, see, this helps me though. $10 is huge for me. Um, I appreciate high interest. The boys' tips are coming in now. Tip train, Johnny. Oh, thanks, man. Now I feel I didn't mean to guilt anyone into tipping me $10, dude. That's not what we're doing here. Let's all eat. Ticket gate is at the, yeah. It's on the it's on my channel. Just go to my videos and just type it in. But like it's not as big as a deal as people think it is, man. I don't understand why Muscles isn't talking to me. Like, it's not a big deal, dude. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't think it's a big deal. I would bring Muscles on my channel. It would be like so guys, every day I'm talking to like Tommy Randone, going back and forth, and a couple other guys in my chat group. You guys I talk to every day, but like Tommy has my personal phone number. Muscles had my personal phone number. So I went from talking to him every day to just not talking to him, and like I'm a loyalist. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. No MJ Johnny this time. You said he's long. What do you mean? But no MJ. What's no what? No MJ. King, what is up with you young bucks with this no? Your minds are twisted into perversion. Not everything has to trigger a homosexual or a sexual thought. Stay focused, King. We're talking about boxing. Just because in your mind you hear a noun, a verb, an adjective, and it triggers some sexual perversion or some. You don't have to say pause. That's weird. I'm an old head. I'm 44. It's weird when we're talking boxing and we're talking about somebody's long jab and the dude says pause. It's like, what? Why are you bringing homosexuality into this? I'm listening to I thought if I can't go to Philly, surely watching Philadelphia boxing content, I'm not going to have to deal with this. Sure enough, the dude who's holding the camera running the YSN page is talking to like a legit pro, and he's not doing it. I don't think you guys are doing it cognitively, though. It's part of your pattern of behavior of speech and your vernacular. Like, it's in the culture now. Whenever there's like a chance to say it, it's like a funny thing. I get it. Yeah, it's pause and people laugh. That's a weird thing for a 44-year-old man like me to be talking boxing and I'm talking about somebody's jab and somebody says pause. I was like, what, dude? That's so freaking weird. And so it happened today on YSN on the dude's talking to like Cornflake Lamana, and the dude, they're talking about some like his promotional company having a big card coming up with Manny Chance. Shout out to Manny Chance. If you don't know Manny Chance, he's a good fighter. He's a good prospect. Keep an eye on. And the dude behind the camera goes pause, and Lamana's like not ever. What has happened? Save that for the boys, wherever you are. But we're talking about. There's gonna be long jabs. Somebody's gonna have a thick torso. Somebody's somebody's gonna have a strong right hand. There's gonna be adjectives that could relate to other things, non-related to things that you think that you should say pause. It's crazy. Y'all cast is wild, boy. King, you're my guy though. I've tipped you for my little bets. Haha. What is a prop? Aussie pugilist. What's up? A prop bet is sort of like a non-money line prop, like a punch prop. Will fighter throw X amount of punches? That will be a prop bet. Will the fight go X amount of rounds, over and unders? A prop bet, that sort of thing. It's a great question. Long. Not by Oscar and the Dream. What? No, not by Oscar and the Dream. I didn't see the boxer did it, but Hitchens had a net. Y'all, you guys are having this is awesome actually. You know what? Maybe guys, maybe we should all take a break. Like, do we need like a break from boxing, guys? Maybe we all should just take like a month off. We're having dreams about fighters. Is that? I guess it's better to. I guess it's better to have dreams about your bets than dreams about. See, I've been hanging out with you guys too much. Thank you, Alan. You have a hella pause moment. Say, King. I appreciate you guys, man. Can't I troll you too? We're just clowning now. But guys, like, um, it is. We're bringing. Tommy's coming on tomorrow. Tommy Renaud. I can't even speak now. I can't even say that. Anything you say, you could say pause to. This is why we're not playing that game. Tommy's coming on the show tomorrow. What are you supposed to say? You guys have literally weaponized just speaking. Your whole generation weaponized speaking. I love you too, bro. The show, Wilson. The show tomorrow. And then Saturday, Joe Stunner Boxing. So tomorrow at my 10 a.m., Friday, Sydney, 10 a.m., which is New York. Thursday, 6 p.m., Tommy Renaud. And then Saturday, my 10 a.m., London, 9 p.m., Joe Stunner Boxing. And if you didn't catch Gary from 3D and myself, our live stream yesterday, it was awesome. It's up on my channel. It's on his channel. Go check him out. And then from there, I'll put a little bit more time on for the UFC because I still need to put those bets in. Patreon guy, the JSB Insiders in the Patreon. I'll be going live in a couple hours on the Patreon just for the members. So the Patreon, we have members only live stream. We will talk specifically about the tickets that I've posted. And if you see a ticket in the Patreon, those are my bets. Okay. And right now in all the JSB Insiders on YouTube, you guys have all those bets. Those are under members posts on the channel. Okay. One of the in the Patreon and on the channel, we currently have 5 of our bets up there. So I have a 2-legger, which is paying plus 593. Let's go. I have my underdog of the week, my prop of the week. I gave you guys a 3-leg method of victory parlay, and then a safety net parlay. The safety net parlay, I put it in 4 days ago. And so King pound for pound. We got a new JSB Insider. So King, now all you have to do to get all my bets, just go on my YouTube channel. You'll have access to the members only section. You'll see all of them. Appreciate you. Hey, we got newest JSB member King, and we're approaching 400, which is great. So this time next month, we should have 400 JSB Insiders. This is a journey we started together in August. So it's growing because of you guys. We getting active. That's right. Your parlays are... No, not all of them. No, not all of them, because some of the bets have a method of victory. So if you're taking said fighter to win by decision, that's called a method. That's not a money line. The money line would be specifically in those long parlays, like the 4 or 5 ones, and it's like shitty odds. We're just doing for fun. Those are all money lines. And then if you see my dog of the week plus 380, that's a money line too. So I tend not, if I'm taking a guy and he's at plus 400, I've been burned in the past with taking a plus 400 and getting it right, but then picking him to win on points at plus 600, and then he wins by knockout, and then you lose, where you could have just found a victory with taking the dog. So this is back to the strategy that I always talk about. Learning how to strategically bet is just as important as learning how to actually bet, learning how to actually pick winners. So there's the knowledge of the game is one thing, of the fight game, and then the knowledge of the strategy of the bet is a whole separate game within the game. So these are good questions to ask. Devon Clark, my boots are dug into the sand. We are and still all day long. I posted my bet. Money team. The boys we're up. This does bother me. Fawaz not ever going 12. Are you worried about this? I am. We always gotta be worried though, man. My stress levels, the stress levels. Think about, okay, King. The stress levels I had going heavy on Brandon Figueroa on the money line in the UK, bro, that affected my sleep the night before. Going heavy on Joshua Kelly at plus 400 the night before on the money. That affected my sleep. Fawaz not going 12 on the distance, half unit. But I'm not convinced that's gonna happen. But that's my play. Guys, stay tuned, man. I appreciate everybody here.